Welcome back, my most determined learners. Today's lesson touches on a topic that is incredibly close to my heart and essential for anyone at an intermediate level: how I learned English. I know that the journey to fluency can sometimes feel like climbing a mountain in the fog, but I promise you, the view from the top is worth every step. Small steps and big wins. Hey, Leo, you won't believe it, but I just finished a whole novel in English without looking at a dictionary once, I exclaimed, dropping my bag at the cafe table. My friend Leo looked up from his coffee, his eyes wide with surprise. Really, Sarah? 2 years ago, you couldn't even order a sandwich in London. How did you do it? What's the secret? I laughed and sat down. There is no magic pill, Leo, just a lot of curiosity and a very specific path. I remember the beginning so clearly. I was standing in a bookstore, looking at the English section, feeling completely overwhelmed. The grammar books looked like ancient math texts, and the novels looked like secret codes. But I had a dream. I wanted to travel, to understand the lyrics of my favorite songs, and to connect with people from all over the world. I started with the basics. I didn't jump into Shakespeare. Instead, I focused on high-frequency words and everyday expressions. I bought a small notebook, my English diary, and I wrote down 10 new words every morning. I would walk around my apartment pointing at things. This is a kettle. I am making tea, I would say out loud, feeling a bit silly, but knowing that speaking was the only way to make the sounds feel natural in my mouth. After a few months of learning simple phrases, I moved on to reading. This is where many learners get frustrated because they choose books that are too difficult. I chose graded readers, books specifically written for my level. They were simple, but they gave me the confidence to say, I am reading in English. One day, Leo asked me, "Aren't those children's stories boring?" "Not at all," I replied. "It's not about the plot yet. It's about the victory of finishing a page and understanding every word. That feeling is addictive." As my vocabulary grew, I decided to tackle the most intimidating beast of all: listening to native speakers. I started watching my favorite sitcoms. At first, it was a disaster. Everything was too fast. "They sound like they are speaking one giant, never-ending word," I complained to my sister. But I didn't give up. I developed a system. First, I watched an episode with subtitles in my native language just to understand the story. Then I watched it again with English subtitles. This helped me connect the sounds I heard to the words I already knew. Finally, I would watch it a third time with no subtitles at all. I remember the exact moment the click happened. I was watching a scene where the characters were joking about a burnt dinner. I laughed. I didn't translate the joke in my head, I just felt it. I realized then that the English language was no longer just a subject in a book. It was becoming a part of my soul. When I reached the intermediate level, I hit what we call the plateau. I could communicate, but I felt stuck. My sentences were simple, and I kept using the same 5 adjectives for everything. Everything was good, bad, or interesting. I realized that to learn more deeply, I had to change my environment. I started seeking out intermediate plus materials. I listened to podcasts about psychology and self-improvement because those were topics I actually cared about. If you are interested in the content, your brain works twice as hard to understand the language. I also started practicing shadowing. I would listen to a native speaker and try to repeat exactly what they said, mimicking their rhythm, their pauses, and their emotion. "Sarah, why are you talking to yourself in the kitchen?" my mom once asked. "I'm not talking to myself, Mom. I'm having a mental conversation with a TED Talk speaker." The final bridge to cross was the fear of making mistakes. For a long time, I was a silent learner. I was terrified that if I used the wrong tense, people would think I was unintelligent. Then I met a traveler named Marco. His English was full of mistakes, but he was so confident and friendly that nobody cared. We spent 2 hours talking about our favorite cities. Marco, I asked him, don't you worry about your grammar? He grinned. Sarah, language is a bridge, not a prison. If we are crossing the bridge and talking, the bridge is working. That changed everything for me. I started looking for every opportunity to speak. I joined online language exchange groups, I spoke to tourists in my city, and I even started thinking in English. Instead of translating, I am hungry from my native tongue, the thought simply appeared in English. People often ask me how many hours a day I studied. The truth is, I didn't study for 5 hours on Sundays. Instead, I lived in English for 30 minutes every single day. Consistency is the secret ingredient that turns a student into a master. I immersed myself in the culture. I learned about collocations, how words like to hang out together. I didn't just learn the word decision, I learned that you make a decision. This made my speech sound much more natural and less like a textbook. Every lesson I learned along the way taught me that patience is just as important as practice. There were days when I felt like I had forgotten everything, and days when I felt like a genius. Both are part of the process. Today, I look back at that girl in the bookstore with so much gratitude. English has opened doors for me that I didn't even know existed. It gave me a global voice, a new perspective on life, and a community of wonderful people. I hope, my precious learners, that you enjoyed today's story and that you feel one step closer to your own success in mastering the English language. Your journey is unique, and every small effort you make today is a seed that will grow into fluency tomorrow. I highly recommend listening to this lesson again, as repetition is the key that locks the material into your long-term memory. Keep going, stay curious, and I will see you in our next session.